All right, this is The Whistle, Season 6, Episode 4.
Season
Spring
6,
ball just
Episode
ended.
4.
How did y'all think? How did the spring game go? How did the spring season go? How were things for y'all in y'all's position groups?
Spring ball is always evaluation. So I thought you saw a lot of athleticism and a lot of speed out there, which is something we wanted to get better at. Just speaking from my group, and we've done that. So I'm happy to see that. But it's still evaluation period. So I'm gonna be the typical coach. You know, it was good, but we always can get better. And it's a finished product is what I want to see the fans to see at that later date. So right now we're heading in the right direction.
Correct.
But always looking to add competition and to make people uncomfortable, because I think that's how you get the best out of people.
Well, I think from an offensive standpoint, special team standpoint, we're same thing. You know, we want to be able to evaluate our kids, come out of it, know a good idea of what we had, so we can go in the portal and get what we need. You know, and that's what we're doing right now. You know, that's the nature of college football. That's what every university is doing in the country. They just finished up spring practice, and everybody's doing what we're doing. So, you know, I know from a offensive standpoint, I felt like we, you know, got a good chance to answer some questions at quarterback. You know, I think we kind of know what we have there, and we can continue to get better and move on. You know, we found some other positions that we got to bring in some pieces to. You know, I know coaches want some O-linemen, running backs, you know, maybe a receiver or two to come in. You know, special teams wise now, you know, we are very happy with our front lineup, our kickers, our punter, you know, our snapper. You know, Cam Hawkins did a great job for us snapping. You know, Mata and Buck handled the kicking duties. You know, Stojanovic did a great job, and then Damon Greaves come in, great punter we got from Kansas. You know, now we would like to bring in a depth piece at long snapper, you know, just to give us a depth piece. But but as far as the other positions, you know, we were able to come and fill out a 2 deep on all 6 of our special teams. Feel pretty good with what we got, and excited about the pieces that we're bringing in that'll add to that as well.
You know, you got some great names at the kickers, though.
I know,
Like,
right?
there's some great names. Stojanovic,
Yeah, Stojanovic.
Bucky.
Stojanovic sounds like a kicker.
It does
That's
sound like
a kicker's name.
It's a kicker's
And then
name, man.
Buck Buchanan.
Buck Buchanan, like you
Yeah.
kicking the air out of that, like a Wild Wild West.
Listen.
Like I see a whole commercial for our special teams kicker. Then you got Mata, you know what I'm saying?
Mata is Mata.
Mata, like listen to me. Check this out. Do you film it in the Wild Wild West, an old like tombstone,
Right.
with the tumbleweeds go
Yeah.
through,
Yeah.
and then Mata comes out with
Absolutely.
his poncho on, and he's got his gun.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? He don't
Yeah.
miss. Then Buck Buchanan, the sheriff,
Buchanan,
with the
the
straw.
sheriff. That's right.
You know what I'm saying?
That's
the long,
right.
with the long straw
Yeah,
they put in the
that's
mouth.
right.
You know,
Good
He's
Clint
sitting
Eastwood
there.
movie.
Good Clint
It's a
Eastwood.
good Clint Eastwood
It's a
movie.
good Clint Eastwood.
The good, the bad, and the ugly.
And they getting ready to show out, and
Yeah.
then here comes the outlaw Stojanovic.
Yeah, Stojanovic.
From over the.
Stojanovic might have the biggest
From over
arms
the
of
hill.
any kicker in college football.
He
got some pop out.
He's got some pop out.
You know,
man. Dude
Yeah.
works out, man.
And then of course we got our boy from Australia. We got
Yes,
Damon-
mate. The new mate.
Mate number 2.
Yeah,
and
the
coach,
new mate.
he's over there from the west side, the surfing side. He told me he's surfed with great white sharks before.
I don't do no
Everything.
surfing with
I
no,
told him, I
no
said, I
big
ain't
white
getting in
nothing.
the water with no sharks.
No
That
fish.
is not
None of
happening.
that. That's-
If I even think there's a shark in the water, I'm getting out.
It's in there.
Yeah.
It's in there, Pollock.
Let me say, hey,
That's
let me tell you something.
seed.
Somebody, you know, people always ask a question when it's beach season. How do you know if they sharks in the water? And I got a foolproof test. If you take a spoon and you dip it in the water and taste it, and it tastes like salt, they sharks in the water. I guarantee you. If you taste salt, they sharks in the water. Okay. And
Have you seen that a little meme or something came on about the shark was hunting? And I mean, he was right there in the shallow part. I'm talking about like he was skimming the shallow part where like you probably put your 3-year-old
Oh, yeah.
kid or something
Oh,
to
yeah,
just
they can
stand
come
up
right
in.
on up
They can come right there
Yes,
close.
sir.
Yeah, man.
And
yeah.
and
be swimming though, like they ain't
listen.
beached and can't move. They
if you in a river that runs into the ocean, sharks can be in that thing too. Because bull sharks can live in fresh water. People don't realize that. Bull sharks can swim up into fresh water, and they will be
Just
right
fine.
there with you. So if that river is connected to the ocean, just know they can be sharks in it.
Yeah, you got me off track, but that was a great one right there. I had to come in on the Sharks now. I had to.
Hey, no doubt.
You know, I want to talk about this portal.
Yeah, let's
Okay?
talk portal.
Check this out. Check this out. I think now the stat is when it first opened up, it was 716 or so kids that entered the portal. Now, 4 years later, it's like 10,000.
Over 10,000.
300 and something
Yeah.
athletes have entered the portal. What is going on here?
Well,
What is
I
this?
think part of the problem, or part of the deal, I won't call it a problem. Part of the deal is so many athletes see the guys that make the storylines, that make the headlines. You know, the kid from the quarterback
Tennessee
from Tennessee that just made the headlines, and people were talking about the money.
Yeah.
You know, the quarterback from Georgia that went down to Miami and got $4.3 million or whatever. And I think people hear those stories, and then they think, hey, well, if he's worth that, then I'm worth this. And as humans, we're bad about that. We're bad about looking at what somebody else has and looking at them and say, well, I'm as good as he is, so I should be getting paid like him.
Yeah.
Whereas a lot of kids don't listen to what Coach Prime tries to tell them. Quit chasing that money. Chase greatness, and money will find you. And that's with anything. That is with anything. With coaching, with the business world, with anything. If you chase greatness, the money will find you. And if you chase the money, you're chasing the wrong thing. And I think a lot of these kids, they get out there, they get a couple of people in their ear with some bad advice, and they don't realize that portal can be a black hole.
Graveyard.
It could be a graveyard. And when because I can tell you from my standpoint, I'm speaking for Coach Pollock. I'm not speaking for Coach Prime. I'm not speaking for Coach Hart, anybody. But if I see a kid that's been in the portal since December and he ain't been picked up yet, and here it is almost May, I'm starting to think, all right, now what's wrong? What do I need to know? Why has nobody picked him up? He was at this certain school, and he was a 4 or 5 star, 3 star, whatever, coming out of high school, and now he's stuck in the portal 4 or 5 months. What's going on? Because, listen, man, hey, good players in the portal are like a pretty girl at the club. It don't take her long, okay? It don't take him long to find a team. So, that's another thing. And I think sometimes that people just, they want to test the waters, and they don't realize sometimes the waters, there's a deep end too, and you can drown. You don't ever test, when you jump in the pool, if you're trying to test the temperature, don't go to the deep end and fall in. Go to the shallow end, okay? And I think sometimes in this portal deal, they get a little bit ahead of themselves.
Yeah. Well, it seems like, there's no more stock in plan A, that people are ready for their plan B.
Right.
Like you always talk about, you shouldn't have a plan B, you should have a plan A. And you go hard at that. You know what I'm saying? And you believe in that, and you pour your eggs in the basket there to really try to accomplish it. But now, from 716 or so kids to
over
4 years later,
10,000.
over 10,000. Plan B seems to be very popular.
Yes.
And I don't know necessarily if that's a good thing or a bad thing. I really don't have any opinion on that way, but I think that it's hard to build chemistry.
Yeah.
It's hard to build a team. It's a lot of turnover, but a lot of kids are now investing in their plan B. Is that a bad thing?
Yeah. Well, you know what? I tell you what, I think sometimes the kids are betting on themselves.
Yeah.
And that's not always a bad thing either.
Yeah.
And I think that under the rules that we have right now, it's their option to use that avenue, and just understand, coaches use it too. We're using it right now to find some pieces that we need for next year.
Well, and this is what I found so interesting about that you say that, because you think about it, all right? They're using their plan B. Coaches are also using their plan B, because it's like the high school kid that comes out, even though he may be an elite athlete, and there are some that will play right away, but there's only like 6%.
Yes.
I read.
Yes.
In all of college football, now I want parents and kids to understand this, there's only 6% of those elite kids that actually play their first year coming into college. So now,
that's right,
with the portal, you think about a coach, especially with the front seven where I live, where Pollock has done his coaching as well. Let's talk running backs. Let's talk offensive line, defensive line, linebackers, right? That front seven, it's more advantageous, I believe, to get a guy who's been in a program a year or two, who's done the weightlifting, who's kind of cut his teeth, and is a little bit tougher and can handle the competition he's going to get coming into the season than it is a high school kid who now graduated early, so he really had a semester left of high school to play.
Right.
But he
or
got
even a year.
A year. There you go.
They
or even a year left.
Now.
Yep. And now he comes up to college, and he hasn't faced a guy or five guys who are 6'6", 265 to 320, and can run a 4.9 or 4.8.
I would also say too that of that 6 or 7% of the freshmen that are coming in, who are the young guys that you hear about in college football that make immediate impacts? Receivers and DBs, right?
The
kid from Alabama,
the
kid from Ohio State. You rarely hear about linemen, O-linemen, D-linemen, linebackers. Guys, I'm telling you right now, you are a very special player if you're an O-lineman and you go to a Power 5 program or even any college program and make an immediate impact up front. I mean, what Jordan Seaton was able to do here at Colorado is very, very rare.
Absolutely.
And I agree with Coach Hart. A guy that I think sometimes these kids come out of high school and they're used to being the big man. They're used to doing what they do. And then you get up here and you're an 18-year-old offensive or defensive lineman and you facing a 21, 22-year-old grown man that's been through college, that's been there. It's a different world.
It's a different world.
And I think that also just the natural progression of the position, which always is going to take longer because of the nature of the trenches. And I think some of these kids get discouraged early because, hey, I'm not starting right now. And, I see this other freshman, he's starting. People talking about him. People ain't talking about me. And it don't work that way at every position. It just don't. That's just not how it works. And I think sometimes you got to give yourself time as a player to be realistic with your expectations of yourself. And but like he said, if I need a right tackle right now to start, I'm looking for that portal kid because that high school kid ain't gonna be able to come in and help me. Not right now.
Yeah.
Now down the line, he can help me, and that's what the plan is. But right now, if I need one this fall, I got to go in the portal and get one that's got some experience. That he's played on Saturdays, he's played in front of the bright lights, he's been through the off season, he understands what he's up against, and his body and his mind have developed to a point where he's thinking more like a grown man. You know? So that has a lot to do with it.
Yeah, because it's a longer season. The bigger and faster kids, things of that nature, and you just got to understand. Like Coach was talking about earlier, wide receivers, DBs, they have more coming out of high school.
Right.
They have the ability to make an impact a little bit more because they're not they're not around the ball. Like an offensive lineman, defensive lineman, linebacker, running back is, where you have to protect and you have to do certain things that are 16 games in the box is a lot more taxing on the body than 16 games on the perimeter.
Correct. The further away you get from the ball, the less physicality there is.
And that's not to say, I mean, there's great athletes out there now.
No doubt.
That's not what we're saying. We're just telling you, and we need you guys to understand this, from an educational point, from what college coaches are thinking, what parents should be thinking, what high school kids coming out thinking when they're looking at their stock and where they are. How do I measure up? What is my impact going to be that first year, depending on the position that I play?
Right.
It doesn't mean that you won't turn into a great athlete or a great player. It's just you need to understand where you are in your development to where you're going to be once you hit the field and you're actually ready to play.
Right.
So that brings me back to what I was saying. Is that plan B really, if you're a linebacker, if you're an offensive lineman, if you're a D lineman, if you're a running back, should you jump into that plan B so quick because you didn't play?
Right.
And get into the portal. I mean, that's
same thing with quarterbacks.
Yeah, same thing with quarterbacks.
like I say, I think receivers and DBs are the two positions that you can if you that guy, you can come in and make an impact. If you're that guy.
I agree.
But I think, you know, those other positions, it's just a different mentality, different mental preparedness. And folks, I'm gonna tell you something. The jump from high school to college is night and day. I mean, it really is. These kids have gone, you know, they've gone from you know, having football practice after school, maybe had one weightlifting class and everything, to pretty much here year round, their whole day's planned. They've got something all day. They got football in the morning, they got academics in the afternoon. I mean, up until about 6 o'clock, they've got a planned day, and that's a different world. And they don't have, you know, mom and daddy at home getting them out of bed in the morning. They got to get themselves out of bed. Mm-hmm. It's a difference. So I think a lot of that plays into account as well. But and I'll tell you something else. If you'll look at the high school kids who are opting out their senior year and jumping into the college game, you know, you're looking at it's quarterbacks, it's receivers, it's DB, it's those skill type positions that are doing that. You don't see a lot of offensive linemen and defensive linemen saying, hey, you know, more defensive linemen than offensive linemen, but you don't see a lot of them just jumping up and skipping that year. And there's a reason. It takes time at those positions to be the kind of player that can compete at this level, you know. So yeah, we got a couple more days before the portal closes up. And we're working hard to bring in some pieces, and you know. But I tell you what, let me just, you know, back up for a second and talk about our spring game for a second, Coach. I was very pleased with the crowd. I thought, even though we didn't have a sellout, you know, considering what I saw, looked around the country, and a lot of people, the attendance was down. Yeah. But our folks showed up. It was a great crowd, and you know, I felt really good about what we accomplished last Saturday. Yeah. You know, I thought we didn't get anybody hurt. We competed.
That's the first thing.
You know, the crowd was there. It was great to see Shador and Travis. And hey, let's go ahead and just talk about the pink elephant in the room. Let's just talk about it. Jump on in with 2 feet, because I know everybody wants to hear what we got to say about it. Hey, I am 100%, and I'm not saying this because Coach Prime or anything. 100% them boys deserve to have their jersey retired. I stand on business. I'm standing on business with that,
Coach.
Yeah. I mean, I think what they've done. You know, you got to look at the accumulation of everything they've done in their careers, and it's not only just what they've done here at Colorado. And I know people say, oh, well, you shouldn't think about what they did at Colorado. They did some great things here at Colorado.
Yes.
But here's some eye-opening things that you have to take a look at as well. Not only did Travis Hunter go to a HBCU and do amazing things, Shador Sanders did too.
Yes.
And I think people don't understand. He had just as many Power 5 offers to go play at a big school early as anyone else did. And he stuck with us, with our team, with his pops and with us. They've known him since he was young. And he went to a HBCU. That is an historical thing to do for 2 kids who we are talking about now. Excuse me saying kids. Young men who are players being drafted in the top 5, top 10 of the
draft. If they ain't both drafted in the top 5, some GMs are going to lose their job. I'm going to call it right now. Because if you pass on either one of them in the top 5, if you got a top 5 pick out there and pass on them, that's on you, dog. I'm sorry. But hey, like I say, man, listen, Travis walked in here Saturday. He had a push cart to get his trophies in.
Oh, he got all them trophies in there.
And then you got Shador, who has broken over 100 school records. He won
2 years now.
In 2 years. 2 years.
I want y'all to understand that. The man was here 2 years and done broke 100 of them. And there's been some great quarterbacks came out here now.
And it took a 1-11 team to 9-4 in 2 years. 9-4. I mean, and I'm talking about a 1-11 team that was getting beat by an average of about 40 points a game. I ain't talking about somebody that was close.
It was close, yeah.
It was bad.
And then you got Jackson State, where he did there.
Same thing.
And then high school, same thing.
Yes.
I don't think people understand his story.
But like I say, he was the Johnny Unitas Award winner.
He was. He went to different high schools, and we have
a couple more.
Turned all those programs around.
Yes.
And he's been the catalyst behind it. Since junior high, he has won a city, state, or a conference Championship.
Yeah, and let me go
Since junior
ahead.
high. I don't know if many people know that.
Well-
but that means he's been a winner
Everywhere he been.
everywhere he's been, and on teams that were not slated to win. He didn't adopt teams that had talent. It's always been this way for him. So going into the draft and then being picked up, what do you think he's going to do with a team like that?
And let me tell you something else too, and I give Travis his flowers and everything, because he is the best player in college football. But I'm going to tell you right now, without two playing quarterback here, we don't win 9 games this year.
Oh, that's true.
I mean, that's just the facts. That's it. It is what it is. And I know they're going, some folks out there in the comments going to say y'all being biased. Hey, I'm here for it. Yeah, I can take the heat. Shoot it at me. I'm fine with it, because I stand. And I know there's some folks that said, well, some other guys that were here before should have got their jersey retired. Well, we wasn't here then. We ain't had nothing to do with that. I agree some folks should have had their jersey retired, but that's before we got here, and I can't. I
have
can't
no
control
idea what
that.
they're talking about.
I can't control that.
I ain't heard about Colorado football since we came
that's
back.
right.
It's been a minute since
Anyway,
the 90s. The 90s were pretty good, though.
Yeah, well, there's a couple guys from the 90s that people were saying their number. And hey, I think those guys had great career. I've met all those guys. Those are great guys.
Yeah, 90s
and I
guys.
think they probably do one day need to have theirs retired as well. Should have already been retired. But like I say, I wasn't here. The current administration is here, wasn't here. So, hey, it is what it is.
Yeah.
These two guys changed the game for Colorado football. As a matter of fact, they changed the game for
football.
college football, period.
Period. Yeah.
Now you got more people because of these two guys changing their mindset and how they think and everything. And I can tell you right now.
What effect do you think they had on the portal?
What's that now?
What effect do you think they had on the portal?
Oh, 100%.
Yeah,
effect.
because, I mean, they come from HBCU.
Yeah.
And came up here. I mean, that was.
And let me tell you something. Let me tell you something too. This is another thing they don't get credit for. Neither one of them took no NIL money from Colorado.
That's true.
They didn't take any NIL. Any NIL money they made was from the outside. Was true NIL money.
That's true.
It was true NIL. It was from companies that wanted to invest in these two young men, because not only are they great players, they're great ambassadors for this university. They're great ambassadors for college football. You never heard about any one of them getting in any kind of trouble or doing anything to embarrass this university, themselves, their family. And I'm telling you what, if you a man and you had a son, and forget the football part, just being the kind of person them two guys are, you'd want your son to be that way, because they're stand-up guys that handle their business the right way. You know, so yeah, I wanted to go ahead and get that said. I know everybody's probably dying to get a little opinion there, but hey, is what it is. That's how I feel about it, and I stand on that.
Stand with you, buddy. Stand with you.
I stand on that.
I stand with you. Gunborough is right up the street. We stand right there.
That's
in
right.
Gunborough.
That's right.
Y'all want to argue? Y'all come to Gunborough, Colorado.
Absolutely.
We'll be there.
Absolutely. Well, Coach, hey, listen. We got recruiting season coming up.
We do got recruiting season
We got to
coming
get
up.
on the
Gotta
road
some
in
new bucks,
May.
man.
Got to get some of these. We can't forget about our high school recruits. We got a great 26 class that we've been working on.
We do.
And we're trying to sew some of them up and get some of them in May. So we're going to be on the road. So you may see some of us around. You know, if you see us in the airport, say hey.
You know what I'm saying? Say a lot of some of them favorites y'all got there. Turn us on to what's a good food choice in your city.
That's right.
You know, or beverage or some kind.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying? Yeah.
Shoot, I tell you what. I'm from Atlanta, and I could still use some suggestions. And I know my guy here's from Dallas.
Yeah,
Dallas, he could use some
I
suggestions.
could use some suggestions.
Anywhere we gonna be, just shout us out and tell us where to meet up for a good meal, a good drink. You know.
Yeah.
But anyway, well, Coach, listen, we got to wrap this up, man. We got to get to work. That portal's hopping, and we got to get on the phone. I've been on the phone all morning.
Yes, sir.
I tell you,
watching videos and talking to folks, man. We're gonna get somebody.
That's what we do. I get a text. This guy's in the portal. I turn the video on. I watch him. If I like him, I call him. If I don't, I get the next guy. So there's a lot going on right now. A lot going on. A lot of great things in college football going on. And you know, let's don't focus on the negative. Let's focus on the positive. Yep. We changing people's lives. And
we got some good things happening in the stadium too. We were out here looking. I don't know. We can tell y'all, show y'all, but when y'all come back, it's gonna be some. It's gonna be some excavators down there. And some,
Dude, they got
some
big
dirt
trucks
up.
running across that. They
field.
got boards so the trucks won't mess the grass. I don't know why they're
Yeah.
worried about the grass.
yeah, you're right. There's some
But,
big changes coming
There's some
now.
changes coming to Folsom Field. We're
Y'all gonna
excited
see
about
some
it.
stuff now.
You know, hey, now I'm gonna tell you something. I think it's a good thing. I think it's a good thing. It's like Coach said. You know, we going with getting the turf because we plan on being in the playoffs, right?
Yeah, getting that turf too. Hey, you know what? All our fans, anybody who sits in those seats that are up under where the press box is, you know, y'all know what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
It's over there. Looks like little condos, little apartments almost, the little area right there.
Yeah.
Can y'all tell us in the comments, do y'all have heaters in there? Are there heaters in there when it gets cold or something like that?
And them cover seats on the visitor side.
Yeah, on the visitor side.
Yeah.
I want to know what's in there.
Yeah, what's in there?
Is there any TVs up in the corners or something? I'm just curious, what's all in there?
I've never been in that
I've
section.
never been in that section
I've
either.
been up in the press box because I was in the press box last year.
Yeah.
But we never did pit stop on
and
in
look,
them
take a look,
sections.
huh? I ain't either. I
didn't
ain't
do that.
I don't know. Maybe.
You know,
Maybe one
so
of these
we'll
days
see.
in summer we run in the camp, we run in the kids' camp.
Might
or
go up
something.
there.
Yeah.
Might go over there and I just want to know what's in there. I'd be so curious sometimes to figure out what is in there. It looks fun, like a little club section or something. I don't know.
They are pretty
But I
loud
tell you
in
what, the stadium, from the plans they got, it's going to be beautiful next year.
Yeah.
So we're excited about that, and you know, we hoping that we host a playoff game.
Oh, we
maybe
will.
Maybe we just get a bye. Let's just get a bye.
I like to buy.
I like to buy.
I want to buy.
I want to buy.
Let's get the
I
buy.
want to buy.
Yeah, everybody,
That's
bus for the buy.
Bus for the buy, baby.
Hashtag bus for the
Right there, right
There you
there. Yeah, get some shirts together. I know y'all will.
Yeah.
Well,
Y'all
guys,
have
listen, we got to get out of here. We got to get back to work. We're glad we got to visit with y'all today. The whistle.
Buffs on me, buffs on 3. 1, 2, 3.
Buffs.
Buffs.